The wide variety of K-content on Netflix has received much love and record views globally last year. Now, on back of this high level of popularity and attention, Netflix has revealed a fresh lineup of Korean movies and dramas for the new year. For today's On Point, we take a sneak peek at what not to miss list. For more, we're joined by Mr. Piers Conran. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Thanks for asking. So, what are some Korean movies or shows that we should add to our must-watch list? There are shows that are making a comeback with a new series as well, which I'm sure is a great news for K-drama junkies like myself. So let's talk about those.
Well, absolutely. As we're expecting now, there's a new year brings a lot of new Korean content. People are very thirsty for Korean content around the world, and the local distributors as well as the global streamers are well aware of that and have prepared quite a bumper lineup once again this year. So, of course, Netflix is leading the way. They have been, pioneering global Korean content over the last few years with things like Squid Game and All of Us Are Dead, and they have a lot of new shows this year and a lot of new films as well. So some of the shows they have a dystopian show called Black Knight coming out, starring Kim Woo-bin. It's set kind of in a dystopian future where we can't go outside anymore because of without masks, because there's so much dust in the air. And Kim Woo-bin plays a delivery driver who's kind of who has to be brave this new territory. So that's one of the shows coming out. There's Mask Girl with Ko Yoon-jung and Nana about an office worker who in the evenings she kind of puts on a mask and becomes kind of one of these YouTube personalities. There's also there are sequels coming out this year on Netflix, both shows and films. Among the shows, we of course a Sweet Home coming back for season 2 at the end of the year. The military drama DP is also coming back for its second season. So those are just some of the things that Netflix is preparing for us this year.
Right, so much to catch up in the coming weeks and months. Now, what do you think will be the trend this year? I mean, action thriller themed content like you mentioned Squid Game, the Glory, Suriname were must-sees last year. Is there anything new in other genres to look forward to?
It's always tricky when it comes to genres to sort of figure out what the next hit genre will be. It's very easy to see in hindsight what worked, maybe why it worked. Not so easy to see looking ahead. Last year we had, you mentioned some, action thrillers, revenge dramas, continuing to do well. I think legal dramas were really the big thing last year, and I expect we'll see a number more of those this year. If I was to say what might be a genre, I suppose we could say perhaps sci-fi. Korean content has been verging more towards sci-fi over the last few years, partly because of increased budgets and just the increased ambition of the creators. And so we have quite a few things coming through. I already mentioned Black Knight. There was the big Lunar New Year offering on Netflix was the sci-fi film junkies from director Yoon Sang-woo, known around the world for Train to Busan. Now, the thing about sci-fi, though, is that I think the Korean industry has kind of had some mixed results with sci-fi. Certainly, junkies, though it has been seen by a lot of people around the world, was not particularly well received, and there have been struggles with sci-fi over the years. So I'll be curious to see how that goes. But there are a lot of big ones. There's a film called The Moon, which is the new film from the director of Along with the Gods, and it's kind of a man lost in space and trying to be reconnected to Earth. So that's a big sci-fi film coming. We have a sci-fi series, Ask the Stars, of kind of a space station romantic comedy with Gong Yoo-jin and Lee Min-ho, so that's another big one there. So I expect we'll be hearing a lot about these sci-fi things coming forward. But I think the big trend maybe this year, it's not a genre, but again, is sequels. I already mentioned a lot of returning series. There are a huge amount this year of returning series and also films. The Roundup was big last year. The next one is out this year. The new Lee Sun-shin film, Noryang, after last year's big film, Hansan, and Roaring Currents years ago is also coming this year. So I think that's a big thing we didn't see years ago. It was not very common. Sequels and returning series, big thing in 2023.
Right. I'm surely looking forward to those sequels. And also, hopefully 2023 is a new year for South Korean sci-fi genre to seize new opportunities.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
My pleasure.